You just had a dream, a vivid one. There were people in it, places, maybe a whole story that felt completely real. And now, 30 seconds after opening your eyes, it's gone. You can still feel that you dreamed, but you can't reach it. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. So, where did it go? And here's the strange part. Why does your brain seem almost designed to erase it? Think about how weird this is. Your brain remembers a phone number from 10 years ago, a song you heard once, the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, but a dream you had 90 seconds ago? Wiped. And it's not just you. Most people forget around 95% of their dreams before breakfast. Add it up, and you'll spend about 6 years of your life dreaming. 6 years. And you'll remember almost none of it. It's one of the most common things humans do, and one of the things we understand the least. So let's go down the rabbit hole. Here's what's actually happening in your head. Insight 1. Your brain switches off its save button. When you sleep, your brain doesn't just slow down. It changes its chemistry. There's a chemical called norepinephrine. It's a big part of how you form and lock in memories. During the dreaming stage, REM sleep, your brain turns it way down. So picture this. You're typing the most vivid document of your life, and the save function is switched off. The dream is happening, but nothing is being written to disk. Insight 2. Dreams aren't stored like real memories. When you learn something awake, two parts of your brain talk to each other. The hippocampus, which captures the moment, and the neocortex, which files it away for the long term. During REM sleep, that conversation goes quiet. The filing system is offline, so even a dream that feels huge and emotional never actually gets moved into long-term storage. It was only ever written in pencil, and the brain never traced over it in ink. Insight 3. There's a window, and it closes in seconds. Here's the part that's actually useful. In the first few moments after you wake up, the dream is still sitting in short-term memory. It's fragile. It's fading. But it's there. If anything pulls your attention, you check your phone, you sit up, you start your day, the dream gets overwritten almost instantly. Gone for good. But if you stay still and you replay it, you can catch it before it dissolves. That's why the people who remember their dreams aren't lucky. They've just learned to grab them in that window. So, if you want to start remembering your dreams, here's the simplest version. The moment you wake up, don't move. Don't reach for your phone. Just lie there, eyes closed, and replay whatever you can. One image, one feeling, anything. Then, while it's fresh, say it out loud or write it down. Even one sentence anchors it. Do that for a week, and something strange happens. Your dreams start coming back to you in more and more detail. Almost like your brain realizes you're finally paying attention. If you try it, tell me in the comments what you remember. I read them. And if you like going down these rabbit holes, subscribe because we've only just started. Because here's where it gets stranger. Some people don't just remember their dreams. They wake up inside them while they're still asleep. They look down at their own hands, realize they're dreaming, and then they take control. It's called lucid dreaming, and it's not a myth. There's real science behind it. That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. Imagine realizing right now that you're dreaming. The walls, the people, the sky, none of it is real. And instead of waking up, you stay and you take control. This isn't science fiction. It's called lucid dreaming. And the people who can do it aren't special. They've just trained a skill that, it turns out, almost anyone can learn. So how does it actually work? And could you do it tonight? Let's go down the rabbit hole. For most of human history, we treated dreams as something that happens to us. You're a passenger. The dream decides where you go, who you meet, when you fall. But every so often, someone wakes up inside the dream without waking up. They look down at their hands and they realize, I'm dreaming. The moment that happens, the rules change. Some people fly. Some rehearse a hard conversation. Some just explore. For a long time, scientists weren't even sure lucid dreaming was real. How do you prove someone is conscious inside a dream? Then, in a sleep lab, they found a way, and it changed everything. The first truth, the experiment that proved it. Here's the problem. A dreaming body is paralyzed. During REM sleep, your brain switches off your muscles so you don't act out your dreams. So a lucid dreamer can't raise a hand or speak to say, I'm aware. But there's one set of muscles that REM does not shut down: your eyes. So researchers asked lucid dreamers to do something clever. Once you know you're dreaming, move your eyes in a pattern we agreed on. Left, right, left, right. And in the lab, on the eye tracking monitor, it happened. A clear, deliberate signal sent from inside a dream. For the first time, someone reached across the border of sleep and said, I'm in here. I'm awake. The second truth. What's actually happening in your brain? A normal dream runs on autopilot. The front of your brain, the part responsible for self-awareness and logic, goes quiet. That's why dreams feel bizarre, and you never question them. A pink elephant in your kitchen? Sure, makes sense. But in a lucid dream, that front region partly switches back on. Suddenly, you have 1 foot in the dreaming world and 1 foot in waking awareness. You're dreaming, and you know it. Brain scans show this hybrid state is unlike normal sleep and unlike normal waking. It's something in between. The third truth, how people actually trigger it. The most reliable method has a name: reality checks. Through the day, you pause and genuinely ask, am I dreaming right now? And you test it. Look at your hands. Read a line of text. Look away. Read it again. In dreams, text scrambles and fingers do strange things. Do this enough while awake, and the habit follows you into sleep. One night, You'll glance at your hands inside a dream, see 6 fingers, and wake up inside it. There's also a simple trick. Wake yourself after about 5 hours of sleep. Stay up for a few minutes, then go back to bed, straight into the REM stage when lucid dreams are most likely. So if you want to try, start tomorrow. A few times a day, stop and ask if you're dreaming, and actually check your hands. It feels silly. Do it anyway. Your brain is learning a question it will eventually ask in the one place that matters. And when it works, when you first realize you're dreaming and the world goes quiet and yours, tell me in the comments. I want to hear it. If you like going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. We're just getting started. Because here's the thing. We've talked about dreaming and controlling dreams. But sleep gets stranger before the dreams even begin. In the first 30 seconds of falling asleep, your brain does something genuinely bizarre, something you experience almost every night and never remember. That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. You do it every single night. You've done it thousands of times, and you remember almost none of it. That strange, in-between place where you stop being awake and start to fall asleep. In the first 30 seconds of sleep, your brain does things it does nowhere else. Things you experience constantly and forget instantly. So let's slow it down, second by second, and look at what's actually happening. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Think about how odd this is. Falling asleep feels like nothing. One moment you're awake, the next, it's morning. You can't point to the exact instant you went under. In fact, you can't catch it at all. And that's the first clue that something unusual is going on. The first truth. The falling feeling. You felt it. You're drifting off, and suddenly, you're falling. Your whole body jolts, your leg kicks, and you snap awake. That's called a hypnic jerk, and almost everyone gets them. Here's the leading idea for why. As you fall asleep, your muscles go limp and your breathing slows. And one theory says a primitive part of your brain misreads that sudden relaxation as a sign you're actually falling. Out of a tree? Off a ledge? So it fires an emergency alarm to tense your muscles and save your life. A reflex from a time when sleeping in the wrong place could kill you. The second truth, the waking dreams. In those first moments, before real dreams begin, many people see things. Drifting colors, faces, geometric patterns, a voice that says your name, a sudden falling sensation paired with an image. This is called hypnagogia, and it's your brain loosening its grip on reality while you're still partly awake. It's also why, if you play a game for hours, you might see it when you close your eyes. And here's the beautiful part. Inventors and artists have used this state on purpose. Thomas Edison would fall asleep holding metal balls over a plate. As he drifted off, his hands relaxed, the balls dropped, the clatter woke him, and he'd catch the strange, creative, half-dream thoughts before they vanished. The third truth. The switch you can't watch. Try this tonight. Try to notice the exact moment you fall asleep. You won't be able to. And the reason is profound. The moment you become aware enough to check, you're awake again. Consciousness doesn't fade out on a dimmer. It blinks out like a light. 1 second the projector is running. The next, the room is dark. And nobody is left inside to notice the switch being flipped. So tonight, as you lie down, pay attention to the drift. Watch for the colors, the faces, the half-thoughts at the edge of sleep. Most people race past this every night without ever looking. You don't have to. And if you catch something strange in that in-between place, tell me about it in the comments. If you enjoy going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. There's a new one every week. Because once you're fully asleep, something even stranger happens to you. Your sense of time falls apart completely. A whole night can feel like minutes. A short nap can feel like hours. And that same trick, your brain bending time, is happening to you right now while you're awake. It's the reason the years seem to speed up as you get older. That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. When you were a kid, a single summer felt like it lasted forever. Now, whole years seem to vanish. You blink, and it's December again. Time didn't change. A year is still exactly a year. So why does it feel like someone keeps pressing fast forward as you get older? The answer says something a little unsettling about how your brain measures your entire life. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Here's the strange part. Nobody is imagining this. Ask almost anyone over 30, and they'll tell you the same thing. Time is speeding up. It's one of the most universal human experiences, and there are a few reasons for it, and each one is stranger than the last. The first truth: every year is a smaller slice of you. When you're 2 years old, 1 year is half of your entire life, an enormous, unforgettable chunk. When you're 50, 1 year is just 2% of your life, a thin little sliver. So your brain may not measure time in fixed hours. It measures it in proportion to everything you've lived so far. Each new year is a smaller fraction of your total, so it feels smaller, lighter, faster. By this logic, the years from 5 to 10 can feel as long as the years from 40 to 80. The second truth: your brain only saves the new. Think about your memory of last week. Now think about your memory of the first time you traveled somewhere completely new. The new one is richer, slower, full of detail. The ordinary week is almost blank. That's because your brain doesn't record routine. When everything is familiar, same commute, same desk, same faces, it stops writing detailed memories and runs on autopilot. And when you look back, a year with few new memories feels like it barely happened. It collapses. A year full of first times feels enormous because your brain actually kept it. The third truth: novelty stretches time. Here's the flip side, and it's the useful part. Have you noticed that a frightening moment or a brand new place seems to play in slow motion? That's your brain switching into high detail recording mode. More memory, more detail. And in hindsight, more time. Which means time isn't just slipping away from you. You have a dial on it. New experiences, new skills, new places, new people. They don't just fill your life. They literally stretch your sense of it. A predictable year disappears. A surprising one expands. So if it feels like life is accelerating, here's the quiet fix. Break the routine. Take the different road home. Learn the thing you keep putting off. Say yes to the unfamiliar. You're not just collecting experiences, you're slowing down the clock. If this reframed how you think about your own time, let me know in the comments. And if you like going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. A new one drops every week. Because here's what's really going on underneath all of this. Your brain isn't showing you reality. It's showing you a model, an edited, sped up, best guess version of the world. And most of the time, it's quietly lying to you. Next time, I'll show you 5 of those lies. Things your brain fakes every single day that you fall for without ever noticing. That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. Right now, you think you're seeing the world clearly, sharply, exactly as it is. You're not. You're seeing a story your brain is telling you, and it's editing out the parts it doesn't want you to notice. Here are 5 lies your brain tells you every single day, and you fall for all of them. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Lie number 1, the hole in your vision. There's a spot in each eye where the optic nerve connects, and it has no light sensors at all, which means there's a literal blind hole in your vision right now. You never see it because your brain quietly paints over the gap with a guess of whatever's around it. You're not seeing what's there. You're seeing what your brain assumes should be there. Lie number 2. Color isn't real. Color doesn't exist out in the world. Out there, there's just light at different wavelengths. Color is invented inside your head, and your brain guesses it based on the lighting it assumes. Which is exactly why one photo of a dress tore the internet in half. Some saw it as blue and black, others white and gold, looking at the same pixels. 2 brains, 2 different realities from one image. Lie number 3. You're mostly blind all the time. Only a tiny patch at the center of your vision is sharp and full of color. Everything else, almost your entire visual field, is blurry and barely colored. It doesn't feel that way because your eyes dart around constantly, and your brain stitches together a smooth, detailed world that was never actually there. Hold your thumb at arm's length. That little patch is roughly all you see clearly at once. The rest is a convincing illusion. Lie number 4. The world goes dark and you never notice. Your eyes make rapid jumps called saccades, several times every second, and during each jump, your vision is essentially switched off, so you don't see a nauseating blur. You are briefly blind dozens of times a minute, and your brain hides it by erasing the gaps. Look at your own eyes in a mirror, then flick your gaze left and right. You will never catch your eyes moving. Someone else watching you can see it easily, but you can't. Lie number 5. You miss what you're not looking for. When your attention is locked on one thing, your brain can fail to register huge, obvious changes happening right in front of you. People in experiments have failed to notice the person they were talking to get swapped for a completely different person mid-conversation. It's called change blindness, and it means your sense of seeing everything is itself a kind of illusion. So, here's the unsettling takeaway. The detailed, stable, full-color world you're so sure you're seeing is a reconstruction. Your brain's best guess, stitched together and smoothed over. You've never actually seen reality directly. Not once. If that bends your mind a little, good. Tell me which lie surprised you most in the comments. And if you like going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. There's a new one every week. Because of all the things your brain invents, color might be the strangest. We just said it isn't real. So here's the question that follows. The red you see, is it the same red I see? Or are we each living in a slightly different colored world and we'd never know? That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. Look at something red. A stop sign, an apple, anything. You're certain you know what red looks like. But here's a question that has haunted people for centuries. The red you're seeing right now, is it the same red I see? Or could my red look like your green? And neither of us would ever find out. It sounds impossible to answer. But science has gotten closer than you'd think. And the truth is stranger than the question. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Start with this. Color is not a property of objects. It's an experience your brain creates. So when two people look at the same apple, there's no way to climb inside each other's heads and compare the actual feeling of the color. That private experience is locked away. This is one of the oldest puzzles in philosophy, and for a long time, it seemed totally unanswerable. The first truth. We can't share the feeling, but we can test the edges. Even if I can't feel your red, we can compare where each of us draws the lines between colors. And when scientists did that across the world, they found something wild. Different cultures carve the rainbow up differently. The second truth, your language shapes the colors. You see, some languages don't have separate words for blue and green. They use one word for both. And people who speak those languages are genuinely slower to tell blue and green apart. Meanwhile, Russian has two distinct words for light blue and dark blue, and Russian speakers spot the boundary between them faster than English speakers do. The words you were handed as a child actually tuned how your eyes sort the world. There's even a tribe, the Himba, who can instantly pick out shades of green most of us can't see at all, but struggle with blue. The third truth. Some people really do see more colors than you. This part isn't philosophy. It's biology. Most people have 3 types of color sensors in their eyes. People who are colorblind have 2 or fewer and see a smaller range. But a rare few, almost always women, appear to have a 4th type. They're called tetrachromats, and in theory, they can distinguish around 100 million colors, while the rest of us see about 1 million. Stand one of them next to you in front of a wall, and they may see rich variation, where you see a single flat shade. So put it together. We can't directly compare the feeling of a color. Our languages bend how we sort them. And some people literally have more colors available to them than others. The honest answer to, are we all seeing the same world, is almost certainly no. Each of us is living inside a slightly different version of it, quietly assuming everyone else sees what we see. If that messes with your head, you're not alone. Tell me in the comments. Do you think your red is my red? And if you like going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. New one every week. But here's the part that really breaks it open. Everything we've talked about is colors humans can argue over. There are colors your eyes physically cannot detect. Entire bands of light right in front of you, invisible. And some animals see them perfectly. That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. Everything you have ever seen, every color, every sunset, every face, is squeezed into a tiny, thin sliver of what's actually out there. The light your eyes can detect is almost nothing compared to the light that's really around you. And right now, invisible colors are washing over you that some animals see as plainly as you see red. So what are we missing? And what does the world look like to the creatures that can see it? Let's go down the rabbit hole. Here's the setup. Light comes in a huge range of wavelengths, a vast spectrum. And the part your eyes can see, the entire rainbow, is a razor-thin band in the middle of it. Everything outside that band is still light. You're just blind to it. The first truth: flowers are covered in secret messages. Just past violet is ultraviolet light, and you cannot see it. But bees can. And to a bee, a plain yellow flower is not plain at all. Many flowers have bold ultraviolet patterns, bullseyes, and runway stripes pointing straight to the nectar. They've been advertising in a color we can't perceive for millions of years. There's a hidden layer painted across the natural world, and it was never meant for us. The second truth: some eyes make ours look primitive. You have 3 types of color sensor. Birds have 4. Most of them see ultraviolet, which means the birds outside your window are wearing colors you will never witness, even between males and females that look identical to us. And then there's the mantis shrimp, with up to 16 types of light sensor. We can barely imagine what it experiences. The ocean, the reef, the other shrimp, all of it lit up in a way no human will ever see. The third truth: heat is a color too. Go the other direction, past red, and you reach infrared, the light that warm objects give off. You can't see it, but some snakes can. Pit vipers have special organs that detect infrared, So in total darkness, they can see the warm shape of a mouse glowing against the cold ground. They are, in a real sense, seeing heat, hunting by a kind of vision you don't have. So step back and take this in. The world is not dim and limited. It is blazing with information, signals, and colors in every direction. You're simply tuned to one narrow channel. Your reality isn't the whole picture. It's the small slice evolution decided you needed. Everything else is still there, glowing, all the time. You just can't tune in. If this makes you look at the sky a little differently, tell me in the comments. And if you like going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. There's a new one every week. And here's where it gets even bigger. Color is just one sense. We've been talking about light, but some animals don't just see colors we can't. They perceive entire forces of nature that are completely invisible to every human sense. Magnetic fields, electric fields, pressure waves, whole dimensions of reality felt directly. That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. You have 5 senses. You've been told that your whole life. But that number isn't a law of nature. It's just the toolkit your species happened to get. And all around you, other animals are sensing forces you can't feel at all. Not better hearing or sharper eyes. Entirely different senses, picking up reality you have no word for. Here are the senses you don't have, and the animals living inside them. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Start with the honest truth. Your 5 senses aren't a complete picture of the world. They're a survival kit. Evolution gave you exactly what your ancestors needed, and nothing more. So when you meet an animal with a sense you lack, you're not just meeting a different creature. You're glimpsing a different reality. The first sense you don't have, feeling the planet itself. The Earth is wrapped in a magnetic field and you cannot feel it, but many animals can. Sea turtles hatch on a beach, swim out into the open ocean, and years later, return to the very same stretch of coast to lay their own eggs, guided by the magnetic signature of that exact spot, like a planetary fingerprint. Birds do it too, crossing continents. They carry a magnetic map in their heads, reading lines of force you'll never sense, no matter how hard you concentrate. The second sense you don't have, reading electricity. Every living body, when its muscles move, leaks a faint electrical field. And some animals have learned to hunt by it. A shark can close its eyes completely and still find a fish buried under the sand, just by detecting the tiny electric crackle of its heartbeat. Special pores around the shark's snout pick up signals so faint they're almost impossible to measure. To a shark, a hidden, motionless animal is still glowing with electricity, and there is nowhere to hide. The third sense you don't have, seeing with sound. Close your eyes, and you're lost. But a bat in total darkness is not. It screams out sound far too high for you to hear, then listens to the echoes bouncing back, and from those echoes, it builds a detailed, moving, three-dimensional picture of the world. It can pinpoint a single insect in mid-flight, in pitch black. Dolphins do the same underwater, and can even sense the inside of another body. They are, quite literally, seeing with sound, painting the dark with echoes. So sit with this for a second. There is a magnetic world, an electric world, a world made of echoes. All of it is real. All of it is happening around you right now, and you are completely blind and deaf to every bit of it. The world you experience isn't the world. It's just your slice of it. Which sense would you want most? Tell me in the comments. Magnetic, electric, or sonar? And if you like going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. There's a new one every week. Now, of all these hidden senses, one is the deepest mystery of all. That magnetic sense, the one that lets a small bird fly 10,000 miles across oceans and deserts and land in the exact same tree it left a year ago. We still don't fully understand how it works, but the leading explanation reaches into something almost unbelievable. That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. A bird weighing less than a chocolate bar takes off from a forest in Canada, flies south for thousands of miles, crosses open ocean with no landmarks at all, and lands in the exact same patch of jungle it visited last year. No map, no GPS. No one taught it the way. How is that even possible? The answer dives into one of the strangest ideas in all of science. Let's go down the rabbit hole. First, appreciate the scale of the mystery. Some birds migrate 10,000 miles or more. Many travel alone, at night, including young birds making the trip for the very first time, with no adult to follow. Somehow, the route is already inside them. So how do they find their way? It turns out they don't use one trick. They use several. The first truth: they carry compasses in the sky. Birds read the sun's position by day and adjust for the time of day. At night, many read the stars. They actually learn the rotation of the night sky as chicks and use the still point, the center it spins around, to find north. Some even navigate by smell, building a map out of odors carried on the wind. They're cross-checking the world the way a sailor uses several instruments at once. The second truth: they may literally see magnetism. Here's where it gets strange. Birds can sense the Earth's magnetic field, and the leading theory says they don't feel it, they see it. In the back of a bird's eye is a special protein called cryptochrome. When light hits it, it may produce a signal that depends on the direction of the magnetic field, laying a kind of compass pattern directly over the bird's vision. Imagine seeing north as a faint glow across the sky. That may be the bird's everyday reality. The third truth: the mechanism reaches into quantum physics. And this is the part that sounds made up, but isn't. That protein in the eye is thought to work through a delicate quantum effect, a pair of particles linked so that the faint magnetic field of the entire planet can tip the outcome of a chemical reaction one way or the other. Quantum behavior, usually shows up only in physics labs, near absolute zero. Yet, evolution may have built a living quantum compass into a bird's eye, warm and wet and flying through the dark. We are still working out exactly how it does it. So the next time you see a flock cut across the autumn sky, remember what you're actually looking at. Not just birds, living navigators reading the sun, the stars, the smells, and the magnetic field of the Earth itself, possibly using the strangest physics we know. Would you trade one of your senses for a built-in compass? Tell me in the comments. And if you like going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. There's a new one every week. But this leaves us with an uncomfortable question. Birds can do this. Turtles can do this. So many animals carry an inner compass. Did we? Did humans, somewhere back along the line, once feel the pull of the planet too? And could a faint trace of it still be buried inside you right now? That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. Birds feel it. Sea turtles feel it. Salmon, bees, even some bacteria can sense the magnetic field of the Earth. So here's a question that sounds like science fiction, but is being seriously studied. Did humans once have that sense too? And could a trace of it still be hidden inside you? The evidence is stranger than you'd expect. Let's go down the rabbit hole. For a long time, scientists assumed magnetic sense was something that simply skipped us. We have eyes, ears, a nose, no obvious magnetic organ. Case closed. But over the last few years, a few discoveries have quietly cracked that certainty open. The first truth: you have the same protein birds use. Remember that light-sensitive protein in a bird's eye. The one thought to detect magnetic fields. Cryptochrome. Humans have it too. It sits in the retina of your eye. And when scientists took the human version and placed it into fruit flies that had lost their own, the flies could sense magnetic fields again. The human protein still worked as a magnetic sensor. The hardware, it seems, never fully left us. The second truth: your brain reacts to magnetism without telling you. In a careful experiment, researchers sat people inside a chamber that screened out all other magnetic noise, then rotated a precise magnetic field around them while recording their brain waves. The people felt nothing. They reported nothing. But their brains responded. A clear, repeatable dip in a specific brainwave, exactly when the field turned a certain way. Something in your head is registering the planet's magnetic field. You're just not consciously aware of it. The third truth: some humans have an almost supernatural sense of direction. There are communities whose languages have no words for left or right. Instead, everything is described by compass direction: the cup north of the plate, an itch on your south arm. To speak at all, they must always know which way is north, indoors, in caves, in the dark. And they do, effortlessly, from early childhood. A feat that leaves outsiders stunned. It shows the human brain is fully capable of holding a constant, automatic sense of direction, whether that taps a magnetic sense or just relentless mental mapping, it proves the potential was always in us. So the picture that emerges is this. We carry the protein. Our brains react to the field, and our minds can clearly run a built-in compass when a culture demands it. The magnetic sense may not be gone, just buried, unused, sitting quietly beneath conscious awareness. A faint inheritance from a more instinctive past. Do you have a good sense of direction? Tell me in the comments. Maybe it runs deeper than you think. And if you enjoy going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. New one every week. And this raises a bigger question. If we may have buried a whole sense, what else did we lose along the way? Because evolution is full of trade-offs, and to become what we are, humans gave up some surprising abilities our ancestors once had. That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. Your body is full of leftovers, pieces of equipment from older versions of you, abilities your ancestors had and you don't, switches that got turned off, parts that stopped working. Evolution doesn't just add, it takes away. And some of what we gave up is surprising. Here are abilities humans lost on the way to becoming us. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Here's the key idea first. Evolution has no plan and keeps no spare parts. If an ability stops being worth its cost, if the energy it takes outweighs the benefit, natural selection lets it crumble. So a living body is also a graveyard of things it used to do. The first thing we lost, making our own vitamin C. Almost every other animal makes vitamin C inside its own body. Your dog does it. A goat does it. They never need an orange, but somewhere in our deep ancestry, the gene for it broke. We were eating so much fruit that the ability became pointless, so the broken version got passed down. And now, it's permanent. That single ancient glitch is the entire reason scurvy exists, and the reason sailors once died for want of a lime. You depend on your diet for something most animals simply grow. The second thing we lost, raw strength. Pound for pound, a chimpanzee is dramatically stronger than you. Our muscles traded explosive power for fine control and endurance. We can't out-muscle an ape, but we can thread a needle, throw with deadly accuracy, and jog an animal to exhaustion over a long day. We didn't just weaken, we re-specialized, swapping brute force for precision and stamina. Strength was the price. The third thing we lost, a body built for the wild. Your tailbone is the stub of a tail you no longer grow. Wisdom teeth are extra molars for a tougher, rawer diet your jaw no longer has room for. The little bumps of goosebumps are a reflex to puff up fur you mostly don't have any more. Some people can wiggle their ears using muscles that once swiveled them toward danger. And that muscle, some of us are missing. In the wrist, the one that does nothing you'd notice. It's fading out of the species in real time. You are walking around with the switched-off remains of a more animal body. So look down at yourself with fresh eyes. You are not a finished, optimized design. You are a patched-together draft, full of upgrades, downgrades, and abandoned features, carrying the silent history of everything your ancestors needed and then no longer did. Which lost ability would you most want back? Vitamin C, raw strength, or a tail? Tell me in the comments. And if you like going down these rabbit holes, subscribe. There's a new one every week. But here's the twist that surprises most people. Evolution isn't something that happened to us and then stopped. It's not finished. Your species is still changing right now, in this generation. And there are visible signs of it in bodies being born today. That's where we're going next. I'll see you there. We like to imagine evolution as something that finished long ago. Cavemen on one side, modern humans on the other, and now we're done. The final version. But that's not true at all. Your species is still evolving right now, and some of the changes are showing up in babies being born today. So, how is the human body changing in our own lifetime? Let's go down the rabbit hole. First, clear up the myth. Evolution doesn't need millions of years, and it never switches off. Wherever some people survive and have more children than others, for any reason, the species keeps shifting. And humans, it turns out, have been changing surprisingly fast. The first truth. We recently rewrote our own biology. For most of history, no adult human could digest milk. Then, a few thousand years ago, herding cultures kept the milk-digesting gene switched on into adulthood. And because milk was a powerful new food source, that trait spread fast. Today, a huge share of the world drinks milk easily. That's not ancient evolution. That's recent, and it happened because of how we chose to live. High up in the mountains, other groups evolved blood and lungs tuned for thin air. In just a few thousand years, we are still adapting to our world. The second truth. You can see new evolution in bodies today. Look at your own forearm. More and more people are now born with an extra artery in the arm. One that usually disappears before birth is increasingly being kept. At this rate, it may become standard in a couple of centuries. More people are also born without wisdom teeth at all, as our jaws keep shrinking. And some are missing certain small muscles entirely. These aren't predictions. They're measurable changes, rising generation by generation in living humans. The third truth. We now steer our own evolution. Here's what makes us unique. Medicine, technology, and culture have changed the rules. Traits that might once have been weeded out can now be passed on. The foods we invent, the cities we build, the way we pair up and have children, all of it quietly shapes which genes carry forward. For the first time, a species is influencing its own evolution, partly on purpose. Where that leads, no one knows. But the one thing we can say for certain is that the human of the far future will not look exactly like you. So, here's the thought to leave you with. You are not the end of the story. You're a single frame in a film that's still rolling, connected by an unbroken thread to the first creatures that ever sensed light, and to descendants we can barely imagine. What do you think humans will evolve next? Tell me in the comments. I read them all. And if you've made it this far, thank you for going down these rabbit holes with me through dreams, senses, the brain, and our own evolving bodies. Next, we leave the body behind entirely and start asking even bigger questions about time, reality, and the universe you think you're standing in. So subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side.